Hi, I'm Colin The Head, and welcome to today's exciting expedition of Disused Railway Diaries. And today we've come to Pontefract. Now, the reason why we've come to Pontefract, what it is about Pontefract is it's got 3 train stations, right? It's got Pontefract Baghill, it's got Pontefract Monkhill, and it's got Pontefract Tanshelf. Now, once upon a time, these 3 stations were linked together by this line called the Chord, right? It was called the Chord, and basically what the Chord was, it was a link. It was a single track link. Now, the Chord has been dismantled in 1964 and the Chord's gone. But what we've come to show you today is how Pontefract's become such a divided place. It's a divided town because of the Chord. Because when the Chord were built, it was known as the Pontefract Line. And what it was, the whole source of the actual Chord was to link Pontefract's 3 mainline stations. Because Pontefract Baghill, you see, it's on the Sheffield Dearne Line. Now Pontefract Monkhill, which is behind me, this little hollow behind us, this modern looking train station, that's on the Leeds Castleford line. Now there's another train station that's called Pontefract Tanshelf as well. That's also on the Pontefract Wakefield line. So you had all these 3 lines that diverged into Pontefract and come together at Pontefract. Now the actual Chord itself closed in 1964. And what it did, it linked the stations of Pontefract Monkhill to Pontefract Baghill. The actual Chord itself was only about 1.5 miles in length, and it was a single track Chord. And the only bit that actually remains, the actual physical structure on the actual line that actually remains, is a viaduct. Now we've come to show you the viaducts, we're going to take a look at the viaduct later. But since they closed the Chord, and the Chord was dismantled and closed down, Pontefract became a divided place. People couldn't travel. People couldn't travel from Pontefract Monkhill to Pontefract Baghill on the train because the Chord wasn't there anymore. They just decided to rip Chord up in 1964, right, and say, we're going to close Chord. But why did they close this Chord? This is what we want to know. Why did they close this Chord? Because at the end of the day, it serves a purpose. It links a railway line which links 2 major cities, York and Sheffield, which are 2 vital major cities in Yorkshire, right? And to be fair, right, this Chord were linking the people of Pontefract Monkhill, because this is where we are, right? We're actually linking them to these vital places. You know, people didn't have cars back then, like I've mentioned before. You know, people couldn't travel, and they needed the Chord. But somebody somewhere has decided to close the Chord. Right, so as you can see, we've just come over onto the top of the bridge, and you can see the actual, to our right, the Chord went off to the right, where that little bit of a siding is. That's where the Chord would have started. So the Chord would have come from Baghill in that direction. You know, if that Chord was still there, it was actually a big part of Pontefract's railway infrastructure. You know, and they just like dismantled it and they took it out of the equation. But what you're left with now is you've got 2 train stations which are connected, and you can get a train from one side of Pontefract to the other side of Pontefract, but then you've got another train station that's completely isolated and on its own, and it's hardly used. So this is what we're trying to get across, is Pontefract's become divided, and back in 1964, right, when the actual line were actually dismantled, it divided Pontefract. It carved Pontefract in 2. It cut them into 2. It cut Pontefract into 2. To 2 separate divides, 2 social divides. The 2 social divides in Pontefract. There were obviously Pontefract Baghill, and then there were Pontefract Monkhill, and then there were just Tanshelf, you know, just linked with Monkhill, but Baghill were completely like shoved out of the equation. And that's all because of Chord. The Chord was, you know, people couldn't travel to Baghill. No, the people from the Monkhill area of Pontefract could not travel to Baghill because of Chord wasn't there. So what we can't understand here at Disused Railway Diaries is why did they dismantle this Chord? Because today, in today's modern day, you would be able to get on a train at Pontefract Monkhill and actually travel to Pontefract Baghill. I know it's only 1.5 miles down the road, right? But the actual infrastructure should still be there, because they're not really doing out elsewhere. All they've done is built a few factories around it. Right, we've just got a local passenger train coming into Pontefract Monkhill. Now, if the Chord was still, that's come from Tanshelf, that train, right? And it's come to Monkhill. So, it's coming into Monkhill, right? If the Chord was still there, it could just make a right turn at Monkhill and go to Baghill. But because Chord's not there, this train can't go to Baghill from Monkhill. It's stuck on this line. And that's because of the 1964 Railway Beaching Acts. What were they doing destroying that Chord? It's just going to Knottingley instead. It's only going to Knottingley. I mean, who really wants to travel to Knottingley anyway? I'm not really interested. But, you know, it's only going to Knottingley. It can't go to Baghill because Chord's not there. I'm not happy about that at all. Chord should still be there. Pontefract should still have its Chord. Right, so we've just been to Pontefract Monkhill train station. And as you could see, it was a really modern carry-on. You know, there were billboards, there were information, it were busy, there were like electrical signs, you know, destination boards telling you where trains were going. You know, it was a modern, functioning train station, right? Now we've come to Pontefract Baghill, right? We've come to Pontefract Baghill, which is just about 1.5 miles away from Pontefract and was linked by the Chord. Now, Monkhill were modern. Now look what we're presented with. We've got boarded up windows. We've got, you know, it's not really looked after. I mean, we've got advertisements. I mean, what's really going off at this train station? You know, there's not a lot happening here at all. You know, it might as well just be closed. You know, I mean, and this is just outside. You know what I mean? I mean, look, there ain't even a car in car park for crying out loud. No one travels from this train station. Nobody uses it. But just, you'd think there weren't even tracks laid behind me, but I do assure you, it's a double track line behind us. It's a mainline train station, right? And it's just there. And it's actually on York-Sheffield line. York's in that direction, Sheffield's in that direction. Two major cities. And then in middle of it, you've just got Pontefract Baghill. So look at it. This is what we're trying to say, but since the Chord were took away from Pontefract, it just ruined Pontefract. It carved Pontefract in two. The people of Monkhill did not talk to the people of Baghill. Obviously, people of Monkhill thought they were a little bit better than the people of Baghill, right? So obviously, the Baghill train station reflects the people that live in the community. You know, it reflects the people that live in the community. And this is what you've got. You've got this station. Let's take a look inside and see what's going off at Pontefract Baghill on this Saturday afternoon. Right, so it's a Saturday afternoon here at Pontefract Baghill train station. It's Saturday, right? It's middle of the afternoon, about 3:30-ish sometime, you know. Right, so behind me, right, you've got the big cities of Sheffield, you've got Meadowhall, big shopping centre, you know what I mean? A lot of people travel to Meadowhall. And you can get on a train from here that will take you to Meadowhall, right? You've also got Sheffield, the steel city of Yorkshire. You know what I mean? Big, massive, industrious city. In that direction, you've got York. Now, we all know what York's all about. It's another big city with big, massive cathedral, museums, tourist attractions. You know, it's York for crying out loud. And just look at this train station. I mean, there's not a soul about. There's only me here. You wouldn't even think it were even a train station on a Saturday afternoon. There's not even any advertisements. There's just nothing here. It's just absolutely derelict. I mean, if you just take a look over here, just behind me, there's nothing here. It's just like, it's the train station that isn't a train station. It's on a main line. It's got two lines. You know, this line should be buzzing. Chord actually spurred off behind me in that direction. So, Monkhill's over here and trains when they come in this direction. But look at the contrast from Monkhill. I mean, look at it. There's nothing here. You don't even think you're in the same town. What a social divide. I mean, it's a Saturday afternoon, there's not a soul here. Now we're just going to take a quick scope of it at timetable and we're going to show you how many trains actually use the station on a day-to-day basis. Right, so we've got the York-Sheffield via Pontefract Baghill line timetable, Monday to Saturday, so that's all week. Oh, Sunday. You've got, on a Sunday, right, from this train station, you've got two trains. Hang on, let's just find it. you've got 2 trains, one at 17:21 at night, and then you've got another one at 19:38. They're 2 hours apart. Who the hell's going to use that train on a Sunday? I mean, who's going to use it? Pointless. Absolutely pointless. Why are they even running these trains and wasting valuable diesel? You know what I mean? They're moaning about wasting vital energy resources, right? What is the point in running that train to Pontefract Baghill, right, on a Sunday, right? No one's going to use it. They might as well close it. Right, weekdays, Monday to Saturday, right? How many trains we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 trains in between the hours. You've got one at 10:10 in the morning, right? And your last train goes through here at 2:10. So what about rest at day then? Don't people want to travel from York to Pontefract Baghill for rest at daylight? So the only time you can physically get a train to this station, right, is in between the hours of 10 o'clock in the morning while 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 hours. You've got 4 hours of train service a day squeezed into that crucial time in a 24-hour clock. So you can only get a train from here at 4 hours at any given time. Ridiculous. All because of the chord. It's all because of the chord. If the chord were there, right, there'd be Leeds trains coming in. There'd be trains from Leeds. You'd be able to come to Pontefract Baghill and travel to Leeds. You know what I mean? And because it's the simple fact you haven't got the link to get to the actual Leeds line. If the chord was still there to this day, you could get on a train here, right, and go to Leeds. Now, I will say, right, if that chord was still there, this platform, one, it would be painted red, right, like all the rest of train stations in West Yorkshire. Right, 2, it'd have loads of metro signs up. We've only got a little metro sign, right? It's because of Chord's not there. That link is there to Leeds, and that is the reason why this train station is so quiet. And I think it's a bit of a waste, really. You know what I mean? It's a bit sad. Right, so where we're going next on Disused Railway Diaries, right? We're off to the Chord, the vital link that's destroyed this train station. We're going to see the culprit. We're going to go and view the culprit which actually caused this train station to come in such a dilapidated mess. So, we've come to this vile monument behind me. Now, this is the reason why people of Pontefract are in so much of a divide. You've got the people of Baghill not getting on with people of Monkhill. And it's all because of this bridge. It's all because of this viaduct. This is the Chord, right? This is the Chord. The line known as the Chord. And obviously, it linked the 2 lines. And when the actual Chord was in use and the lines were there, the people of Pontefract used to be in merriment with each other and used to get along and, you know, they're in harmony. But since the Chord was dismantled and taken away from the people of Pontefract, there's just controversy and violence, and the people of Monkhill don't get on. Don't get on because Chord's been took away from them. Once the Chord were closed in 1964, that were it. You know, people of Monkhill did not get on with the people of Baghill. And the people of Baghill have to settle for a substandard station because Pontefract Baghill has not got a link to the Leeds main line, which is the vital artery, the main city hub in Yorkshire. And it's all down to the Goole 3-arch viaduct behind me. This is the only remnants, an actual piece of engineering, civil engineering, that actually remains to this day of the actual Pontefract line Chord. And as you can see, it's in a little bit of a state covered up with trees. This is the only arch that's actually visible. And the pure reason for that is the A645 main Knottingley Pontefract road has to go underneath it. And the only reason why it hasn't been dismantled completely and taken away from Pontefract is because of this road. So as you can see, there's loads of trees and bushes growing out in it. Trains haven't gone over that since 1964, but it was a vital link between Pontefract Monkhill and Pontefract Baghill. Now if the Chord was still there to this day, like I said earlier up at Pontefract Baghill, you know, there would be more people using that station. But technically, I can actually see Pontefract Baghill becoming a disused station within itself and actually closing in the near future. for the amount of people that actually use the actual railway station and trains that actually stop there, you know, there's not much going up at Pontefract Baghill, but just up road at Pontefract Monkhill, because it's got a direct link to Leeds, there's loads going off up there, and it's all because of that chord. Let's take a look at the bridge before we go and just see what the chord's all about. This viaduct is actually 76 metres long, right? 76 metres long, and it's a 3-arch viaduct. Now, if you take a look at the actual top of the arches here, where that sandstone edging is, you can see there's no walls. Usually on previous Disused Railway Diaries, like on Pontefract Viaduct, it had really big high walls. Now there's no high walls on this viaduct. The reason for that is it used to have railings. I dare say it had, I'm nearly 100% sure it had railings. They might have took railings down, or when they dismantled it and just weight railings in, just didn't need them. You know what I mean? So it used to have railings. The actual bridge itself, it's in good wrath. Except for trees growing out at top. I dare say they're actually holding it half together. Great, so we've come into one of the arches. Pretty dry. Dry as we've been all day because it's teeming it down with rain. And as you can see, buttresses, they're made out of sandstone. I dare say this is locally sourced stone. To do it, a lot of structures that are around Pontefract and a lot of its railways infrastructure around Pontefract itself, you generally find that a lot of bridges around here are made out of this sandstone. Pure reason why is because it's easiest to source. Wherever they were building it, the railways were always built out of local material, like I've already said, and we already know that. So around here, sandstone, it must have been cheap to source, it must have been easy to get to the actual area. Obviously we've got, it's a brick lined arch. I can hear you all saying to me, Colin, how did they get this sandstone here? I'll tell you how they got this sandstone here. Can you remember Disused Railway Diaries, the last episode I did, Bracken Light Railway? Well, that was a sandstone railway. So what will happen is all sandstone will come from them sort of quarries or them sort of tributaries to the actual main line. So, because obviously the first line that were built that actually came to Pontefract was the Sheffield line, and obviously the Leeds, the other two lines which I've mentioned in the actual episode, they came after. So obviously the Sheffield line would have been here first, and this would have been built to link Baghill with the two new stations. So really, the railway line were moving in that direction. The railway line came from Pontefract Baghill to Pontefract Monkhill, but then was dismantled. So the actual feeder was actually cut off. But yeah, this is it. We hadn't even got a name, this viaduct. It's not even got a name, but it is a viaduct. That's what it is, and it's the only piece that actually exists. And it hasn't even got a bridge number. Usually all bridges and all parts of disused railway structure, what I've said before, it's actually got a bridge number on it. It hasn't even got a bridge number. It's like it's been completely just cast off and forgot about. But, you know, it's a part of Pontefract's heritage and a part of Pontefract's history. Everybody knew Pontefract knows about this bridge. Thousands of people drive under it every day. And it hasn't even got a bridge number. Even local bongheads come here regularly and they just bong and drink and stuff. You know, it's an actual social area as well. You know what I mean? They've been ordering curries and stuff while they've been having, you know what I mean? Look, they've got hot flames. Menus there and that. You know, so it's a local social event as well. It's not just a disused railway viaduct, it's actually, you know, people come here to socialise to this viaduct just outside A645 at Pontefract. You know what I mean? So, that's just a little bit about this viaduct. I'm Colin The Head. So, we've just come up onto the bank here, we're outside the embankment here at this unnamed viaduct in Pontefract outside A645, right? And we've just noticed this nice drainage gully that's just outside of us. Now, it's pissing it down with rain. Then obviously the top of the viaduct's covered in trees, so, you know, all water that actually falls onto the viaduct, these tree roots will be absorbing it and they'll be using it for food, right? But look at this drainage gully that's actually left from the actual viaduct when it were actually in use. It's still there. You can actually see where water used to drain outside at Buttress at Viaduct. But obviously it just don't work this day, you see, it's not working at all. But just another feature. Great, we've just found these holes, these 5 holes. Now, when I first come to this actual bridge, I didn't know what they were actually for, but I've just thought on, they must be for when the actual bridge was being formed. When they were forming arches for the bridge, obviously what they did, they used to put big wooden rack formers as a wooden arch, and then what they did, they used to build the viaduct round the actual former. So once the mortar sets, they'll take the former away and the arch will just stay as an arch. Obviously these holes here, the former would have gone into here and would have gone straight across arch in that direction, but there ain't none over there. Now the reason why there's none over there is because that part of the viaduct would not have been built. The viaduct were built that way. They'll have laid the former on top of them, that sandstone buttress over there, but they'll have had to anchor it to somewhere. So where else they're going to anchor it but to something that's solid? Obviously this is a solid wall, this is an embankment behind this wall. That's a buttress which is freestanding. So if they were going to anchor an arch or any sort of structure, they would have anchored it to an embankment. That's what these holes are for. For the sole construction of the actual viaduct. What I'm going to say is, right, is really when you think about Pontefract as a town, right, you've got Monkhill and Tanshelf, and you've got all its retail parks, you've got Alfred, you've got McDonald's, you've got, you know, all these big names, you've got all its new housing estates, all these ultra modern houses that have been built, and you know, it's all ultra modern, it's all up and coming, it's all nice. And then you've got the poor people of Baghill and Carlton, you know, that have to make do with it's like a slum really. It's like a slum of Pontefract, you know, it's a lower classed area. Nothing wrong with it, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, but the people of Baghill have been deprived. The actual start of that deprivation, right, was the closure of the Chord. The Chord, this viaduct which was stood under. The day the Chord was cut away, the day Monkhill and Baghill was split apart because of the beaching action of the Chord. And they closed this Chord, and the people of Baghill from that day onwards have suffered. Have always had to make do with second best, right? Because Monkhill and Baghill have been split up. Two separate divides in one little town that nobody ever really thinks about. But it's true. It's absolutely true. Can't say anything else really. But what we still want to know here at Disused Railway Diaries is why. We can't understand why somebody wanted to close it. I mean, it were a 1.5 mile stretch of track. All they've done with the actual line itself is build factories round the edge of the actual line. They haven't built factories on the actual track bed. The track bed is still there, right? But they've actually done nothing with the actual line. All it ever did was connect two main railway lines inside the town. And it just seemed a little bit of a pointless closure. Now, if that line has still been in use today and has still been instated, you know, Pontefract Baghill would have had a vital link to Leeds. So, that's my final plea. I hope you've enjoyed Disused Railway Diaries today. I'm Colin The Head. It's been a pleasure. Bye.